Okay, I thought I'd tell a story of why I truly believe in God. You know, you hear a lot of people. I just believe. Well, I'm a prime example that He saved me. I'm sitting in the back of my rig right now. That's the reason why I did this, because I was reminded sometime this morning of what I've been through. I can't switch it around, but I want to show you. Here's my little microwave, and see right here, these are the curtains that you know can you close them. There's one on that side, right about on the other side, it right over there. You can close those, to get you some privacy. Well, about I think 5.5 years ago, I'd have to double check. Um, I did a real dumb thing, and I became a trainer for a defunct company called Celadon. And I was really having fun with it, but my life at that time was in complete and utter shambles. I even remember that night uh, crying myself to sleep. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the manliest man. I'm very emotional. I'm a Virgo. What you want? But I remember crying myself to sleep, and I was facing this side of the bed, and my trainee was driving. I stayed up with him all night, through the mountains, and I mean, the guy did wonderful. We was on flatland. Later on, that couple of days later, we was on flatland, and I know exactly exit 110 on I-40 in little right outside of Arkansas. You know, um, and this is why I believe. Because normally when he was driving, and it was my turn, I'd always get up about 2 hours before it's time to get up, and I would sit in the passenger seat. This guy right here, and talk to him, see how the night went, yada yada yada. You know, um, it was a prime example of the blind leading the blind. Shouldn't have been training, but the guy, out the show you the front of the truck. Out of the front, he it was late night. He couldn't distinguish how far away the next truck was, and it was brother had pulled out. And normally, when you're pulling out and you're not going 55 miles an hour or above, and you always see, if you're on the road and you see a truck and he's got his flashers on, it ain't for you guys. It's for other knuckleheads like me. They're saying, hey, I'm going slower than normal. You need to watch out. But this guy didn't do that. And my trainee didn't recognize that he was coming up on him real quick. And but let's go back a little bit before I tell you the accident. I remember later on, I didn't remember it that night, but right before I was about to get up, I heard a whisper saying, "Don't get up, go back to sleep." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go back to sleep." And I remember that. And literally, how I was woken up, it was something out of the ultimate action flick. These curtains that I was showing you, right here and over there, was closed. The whole thing was on fire, literally on fire, and the truck was careening, and I didn't know what was going on. Didn't have my glasses because I put them on. I took them off, and took all my clothes off, and he had hit the whole right side. This side of the truck had hit the trailer of the next guy in front of us, doing about 65 miles an hour. The tank, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, on an 18-wheeler, there's two big giant diesel tanks on both sides of the truck. Well, one tank had exploded, and we went careening into the median of the highway. And I'm not gonna lie, there was no bass in my voice. I was screaming like a soprano woman in an opera, because I didn't know what was going on. And this whole, you see how the whole above right here, the flames had came in through that window and was covering the whole top of the plate area right there. And our truck had went into the median, and because of the median had like a V in it, we had straightened out and finally came to a stop. The guy that was training, he had, held onto the wheel and brought the truck to a stop. And see, this, like I said, when I talk about the Christians, this is not an attack against humble Christians. It's these other knuckleheads. You guys that think you're so much better than someone else, and you don't even show it. You all the time in church and all this other stuff, but you see someone that needs a helping hand, you don't do jack for them. And I remember a few times this young man, because you see all this gray, he was eating, them little weenies in a can and some crackers, and my fat behind was, I'm double cheeseburger, French fries, and I looked, and I this thing said, "Hey man, come on, I can't have you in my truck not eating." I said, "Don't worry," and he was like, I said, "Don't worry about it. I fed that guy. I fed him good, and I didn't want nothing back." But I said, I was thinking, I can't have you to a point where you can't even concentrate because you're hungry. And I remember, I'm screaming because I just, you see death, and it was a straight up death. I remember screaming, and literally in my drawers, pop belly, the whole 9 yards, and that young man grabbed me about one arm and he yanked me through the front right here and out this side door. And I watched how my whole, because I had just leased this truck, and I watched as my whole life went down in flames, because I was, best way to say it, divorced, no place to go, no nothing. And I remember hysterically screaming. And for you guys that think it's so cool to be arrested, and I'm a thug and I went to jail, and I'm like, I'm butt ass naked, literally just some, not even boxes. I had tighty whities on. That shows you how pathetic I was. I had tighty whities on, and I'm sitting on the side of the highway, just shivering. The state troopers that came and said we could sit in the back, and I remember the back when he closed the doors because it was cold, and the fact that I couldn't get out of this car had terrified me so that I swore after everything else I would never get arrested. because I don't want to ever have that feeling again. But I remember, I remember asking God. I said, why is this happening to me? I didn't blame him. That's a lot of times this is what we do. I didn't blame him, but I said, why is this happening to me? And boy, yeah, like I said, cry. But if you saved me for a reason, I just want to live. Not like, I just want to live. No. I said, at that point I realized I have not done a thing in my life other than work. And that's when things began to change. That's when things really began to change for me. Because that one little quiet whisper, if I didn't listen, I'd have been sitting in that seat right there. It's my little food, my junk. That whole seat had blew up, and shrapnel, even doing that, shrapnel had gotten into my knee, glass and everything. That whole side that blew up, I'd have been dead. That's why, with this coronavirus and everything, if I'm gone, I'll go. You can't say I didn't try. Because I know there is a God, and he just don't step in front of your face and hey, I'm God, I'm Jesus. No. A lot of times it's a subtle whisper, a subtle hint to nudge you in the right direction. It was one of the most painfulest times in my life, but I'll never forget, and it always keeps me humble every time I remember it. And even now, my little back there, I don't sleep with these curtains closed, ever. If you could ever come up on me on truck stop, you see my behind laying in that bed with these curtains wide the heck open. Because I can't. I never, probably need some counseling. But sometimes just telling your story can help with it either. And also, I'm not looking for no sympathy or, no whatever, because I used to be addicted to that. No sympathy, but it just wants you to know this is why I believe.